So one of the things that people do, and this is big, this is something that we do a lot in life in general, is that they compare themselves to other students, right? So you'll see somebody in class who every time the teacher asks a question, they're quick to give you the correct answer. Or in clinical, like this person just knows everything. You're like, oh my gosh, like I still don't understand how they got to the answer. Like, I don't get this. Like, I'm confused. Like, why am I not getting it? And you're constantly being like, this person is so smart. This person, everything comes easy to them. Like, I bet they're doing really good on their test. Like, why can't I be like that? Like, why is it so hard for me? Or you just comparing yourself to everybody in the class. Like, everybody's getting it but me. You know, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. And so comparing yourself to others is always going to be detrimental, because you do not know that person's situation, right? You don't know that person's situation. You don't know how they got to the knowledge that they have. You don't know the struggles that they have. Like, I have somebody in my clinical group, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're just so smart. Like, you get this. Like, you don't need this. I'm like, girl, I'm an LPN. Like, I see this every day at work. Like, you're not even in the field yet. Like, this is going to be hard for you to grasp sometimes, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm sure you have skills. You see things totally different. You think totally different than me, and that's amazing, because I'm this little jaded LPN that's just like, girl, we don't do that for real. And you're this fresh newbie, so you are a clean slate, and you can like start to have really good like habits that you build for yourself when you go out here in this real nursing world, right? But for me, when I become an RN, I'm gonna still have this LPN baggage on me, and I'm gonna be like a little jaded. So, you know, we all have different places that we're coming from. I told you, I didn't learn how to read till I was 9 years old. Like, that person doesn't know my struggles. For you to compare yourself to somebody is probably the worst thing to do, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same classroom. We all don't have our RN yet. We all got to pass this test to get on to the next level. So really, we're at the same level anyways. So comparing yourself only brings you down. It discredits what you bring to the table, and it plays on your weaknesses. And that's not what we're trying to do while we're in school. That's not what we're trying to do. So that's the first thing. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Forget it. Forget it. You're you. You're unique. You're your own person. You're there for a reason. Trust and believe that. So the second thing, like I said, we're there for a reason, right? The second thing is that students doubt themselves a lot. Okay? You see this when students will go back and they change their answers to the wrong answer. Okay? Or, oh, they change themselves, change their answer to the right answer. Like, okay, so every time I do a test, I got to change them because it might be the right answer. Stop doubting yourself. Or you want a teacher ask a question, you want to say the answer, but you're so nervous, you don't want to be wrong. Right? So you don't say it, and you're like, oh, I should have said something because that was the right answer. Like, I had my moment to feel smart, you know, like, dang, I should have said something. And even if it's the wrong answer, so what? This is a place for you to learn. So that's my third tip. But the second one is that you doubt yourself. So I feel like I'm going to do a separate video of talking all about test taking, because I see it from a totally different perspective now, going back to school. But students had a tendency to second guess themselves. They don't trust their intuition. They don't trust their own judgment. They just feel like, I'm a student, what do I know, right? But it's always good to voice that, because at the end of the day, when you get out here in the nursing world, you're going to need to advocate for yourself. You're going to need to advocate for your patients. You're going to need to say what you need to say. So the best time to do that is in school, when you're still in that position as a student, when you still have that safety net there. It's okay. And also, when you get to a test question, whatever answer you make, let that be the answer that you make. Take your time. You usually have like an hour and a half to do tests, right? Take your time and complete that test. I'm talking to myself too. When you answer that question, do not go back. Whatever you put is what you put, because guess what? In NCLEX, you cannot go back on NCLEX. You can't. So don't go back. The only time I would say go back is if you read a question. And sometimes you know how teachers will put the answer to another question in one question, and you're like, oh, that's what it is, and you know for sure that's the right answer. Like, you like, in my heart of hearts, it's the right answer. Then you go back. That's the only time. Okay? But otherwise, whatever you answer, let that be what you answer. Do not get in the habit of going back, because one, NCLEX will not let you do that. You need to be confident in what you answer, okay? So get in the habit of doing that, being confident, knowing you cannot go back, okay? Unless, I give you a little caveat. There's a little caveat there. Unless you know for sure it's the right answer, okay? That's the only time. So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Then the third thing is that students don't realize that they're students. They feel like they have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't. Give the wrong answer. Sometimes because you have to think about it in the perspective of a teacher, right? If a student is giving the wrong answer, that helps the teacher to understand and think like the student, okay? So if more people are saying, like, I thought it was this, why isn't it that? And people are like, yeah, I thought it was that too. If the teacher starts to see, like, oh, okay, they're all thinking it's this, but clearly it's not that. Maybe I need to tweak the way I'm teaching this. Maybe I need to, bring myself, because teachers, they're so far removed from being students, from being new students. They might be 10, 20, 30, 40 years away from being where you're at right now. So they always have to learn and have to tweak the way that they see how they're teaching you, right? They have to tweak their way of looking and their perspective of the content because they know this content so well. They should, so you giving the wrong answer or just even coming to your teacher and being like, look, this is how I see it. I know you taught it this way, but this is how I see it. Why do I see it this way? Like, can you help me to understand this better? It's going to help them to be better teachers, which is going to help them to teach you better. And you're going to be better, right? And it helps the next generation of nurses. We always got to help the next generation of nurses. Even though it ain't going to help you for that test, it'll help the teacher for the next generation, right? So anyway, that's what they always say. Hold on. So that leads me to my next thing, that the things that people don't, I forgot what the freaking title of this video was. But anyways, the next mistake that nursing students make is that they do not talk to their teachers. Look, you realize whether you getting financial aid or not, you got a scholarship, whatever it is, you're paying for that person's salary to be there. You know that, right? They are essentially your employee. Okay? They are here to service you. And I wouldn't say your employee, but you get what I'm saying? Like, they're here to be of service to you. So if you're not understanding something, go to that teacher. Even if you don't like that teacher, even if you can't stand that teacher, go to that teacher. Because some teachers trust and believe the way they are in that classroom is totally different from how they are face to face. You got to realize these teachers are trying to get the attention of 20, 30 patients, 20, 30 students, and students are at all different levels. People are talking, people are on their computer, people are falling asleep, people are getting up and leaving. Like, there's a lot happening in that classroom, and they are at the front. Even if they've been doing this forever, they're trying to get everybody's attention and trying to bring everybody to the same level of understanding, because they know a test coming. They know if 20 people fail and only 10 people barely pass, it's going to be on them. So there's a lot when it comes to that teachers, where they're coming from. So they can be totally different in a classroom versus one-on-one. So like I said, even if you feel like that teacher is not helpful and you think, oh, this teacher's going to be a hot mess, go to them. Trust and believe that these teachers want you to come to them. Like, they need for you to come to them so they can be better teachers. And if it comes, I know that people might not believe this, but I truly believe that if it comes down to you being like on the cusp of failing or not, in my heart of hearts, I feel like if you show that you went to the teacher, you went to the course, you went to the coordinator of that program, you went to tutors, you did all that, you did everything you could do, they might just tip you to the other side and move you on to the next side. I don't know if they will, but it might help. It might help. And you could go and you be feeling like, okay, that session was a waste of my time. But guess what? You can say you did everything possible that you needed to do in order to get that best grade that you needed, right? So use your teachers as resources. Talk to them, ask them questions. They might be able to get into your brain and see, oh, this is how the student is thinking. And then they can present that information to you in a totally different way that you start to understand. So one-on-one time with your teacher might be very helpful. They might be able to help you in being like, okay, what are your study methods? And they say, you know what, for my test, it's always best to study this way, because I like to focus on this when I do my test. So start to look at these things and see if that helps you with the next test. Whatever the case may be, communicate, talk to them. They're there for you. Trust and believe. Even if you feel like you're doing well, still talk to your teachers, because there could be a little nugget of information that just brings everything back into perspective. Trust and believe. And also, nursing is small. Nursing is very small. So that teacher might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody down the line that could be of service to you, that could help you. Okay, I'm telling you, people talk, nurses talk. The nurses streets be talking. So try your best, to be in communication with your teachers. It's very good to have a relationship with them. Okay, keep it professional. So the next thing is reviewing your test. So I already talked about, talking to your teachers, but you would be surprised how many people say, I did so bad on this test. And it's like, did you review the test with the teacher? No. Why not? Like, why didn't you take the time? Like, well, because one person told me, well, I looked at the end of the test and I know what I got wrong. That's true. That's fine. But if you know that there's another test coming up, take some time to sit with that teacher before the next test and be like, I don't know why I was thinking this way. Or you might look at that test and be like, what the hell was I thinking? And it'll trigger in your mind to be like, the next time I see this, I know that's not the right answer. Or I know that I cannot think like that anymore. Like, that's clearly wrong. It also shows your progress as you go through the program. Like, I'm actually learning this stuff because I actually know why I got that wrong. Like, I know why that was wrong. Now I understand. But also, like I said, talking to your teachers is going to help you to be a stronger student. And it's always good to see what you got wrong on that test, because more than likely, when you get to that final in that course, a lot of the questions from your past tests are going to be on that final. So you really want to take the time to look over those tests to kind of get an idea of what you need to work on. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing that I can say is that nursing students, like, this kind of goes back to people like, they don't have a lot of confidence, right? Because you're new at this, or you feel like, I'm not getting anything, like, it's just not clicking. Like, every test I get, I'm barely passing, or, I'm not doing so well in clinicals, or I just feel like I'm not doing anything right. Maybe it's your life, your student life balance, right? You don't have enough time for your kids, your spouse, your pets, your job, your hobbies, yourself, your body, your family, your friends. Like, you don't have enough time to do anything. And you start to feel kind of lost and shaky, and you just feel like you're not on solid ground. You feel like you don't have control over your life anymore. And that's getting to the heart of the heart. Like, it gets to the heart of things, right? So when you're feeling like that, you have to realize that there is a plethora. There's hundreds of thousands of people who have attempted, I talk about this all the time, I know it, who have attempted to do what you are doing. Do you know how many people want to go to nursing school? I don't know why these people want to go to nursing school. Get out. But no, it's plenty of people who want to do this, who talk about it, but they haven't done the prereqs, who talk about it, but they haven't got a TEAS book or a HESI book or ATI study book, who talk about it, but they haven't called the school. They haven't applied for the school. They haven't looked at what the options are. They've been talking about it and being like, I'm going to do it, but they haven't done it. And no tea, no shade to y'all, because I get it. I have those moments where I keep talking about stuff and I don't have any progress. Okay, I totally understand. I understand. But you have to realize you're there for a reason. They chose for you to be in that program for a reason. You are in that chair for a reason. You have a spot for a reason. NCLEX is waiting on you for a reason. You're going to be a nurse. Even if you have setbacks, even if things don't go out exactly as you planned, my mother always says everything happens for a reason. Trust and believe that, baby. Trust and believe that everything happens for a reason. So when you find like, oh, I'm not smart enough to do this, like, this is too much for me, this is too hard, like, why is this so hard for me? It's because you're growing. You understand that, right? Growth is painful. Why do you think being in labor and birthing a child is painful? Do you know how hard it is for that baby that's been in that dang on uterus for the past 9 months, 8 months, 7 months, however long they've been in there? Okay? How hard it is to go from that world to this world? They don't want to leave that warm, comfortable space and come out here to this world. Hell no. Earth is ghetto. They don't want to come out here to us. It's painful for the mother and the child. They're both in distress. Trust and believe that. But it's what needs to happen for them to be able to sustain their life on both ends, the mother and the child. So this is the same with you going through nursing school. You have to get stronger. You have to have more confidence. You have to have more stamina. You have to learn how to communicate with people. You have to learn how to ask for help. You have to learn how to build up on your strengths, and you have to learn how to strengthen your weaknesses, or be like, you know, I got this weakness, but it is what it is. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You have to learn, and it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna feel like you can't do it, but you're there. They chose you. They don't just choose anybody to go to these schools. Trust and believe they don't. You went through all the work to get there. So just make it happen. Get through it. Do what you have to do to get through it. And hopefully this video offers some type of tips to help you. I hope it does. I really, really hope it does, because y'all know I love education. I love for people to accomplish their goals when it comes to their education, their careers, because nursing has truly changed my life, my family's life, and hopefully me being a nurse has helped to change you all's life. Tear, y'all know I'm a cancer crab. Tear. But honestly, like, this is possible. You can do it. Trust me, it's possible. You can become a nurse. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to grow. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable, but at the end you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I did that. Like, you're gonna be so freaking proud of yourself. Trust me. Okay, so put your big girl panties on, put your big boy drawers on. You got this. You can do this. I'm your fave nurse B. I'm here for you. You can always email me at yourfavnurseB@gmail.com. I let my website go because I didn't feel like paying for that money, but I probably will bring it back, because I don't know, y'all. Y'all know I be going through my midlife crisis, and I'm not even in my midlife, but it's okay. It's okay. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who will find it helpful. Let me know what videos you want to see. I have a plethora of videos. Help me to grow, you all. Good night.